Chris Lasara on Twitter, who loaned this to me. This is a video review for the iGear Raptor Squadron Thunder Wraith, I believe is his name, the Thundercracker analog. He's available individually. The main seekers, their Starscream analog and their Skywarp analog and their Thundercracker analog are all available singly. The one I really, really want is Thrust, and he only comes in a 3-pack with Ramjet and Dirge. And so I just have not pulled the trigger. After playing with this, I would totally pick up a Starscream by himself, but he is sold out everywhere. Most of the single ones are sold out everywhere. The 3-packs are still around, but I don't know if I want to spend the money on 3 of them. But all in all, if you can get a single one, or if you really like the mold, if you really like to have all 3 of the Seekers, maybe it's worth it, because it's actually a surprisingly good figure, and we'll get to that throughout the course of the review. Right here he is in his jet mode, his F-22 Raptor-ish mode, and there are some liberties taken with that basic design. Obviously, the underside there, but all in all, it's actually a pretty decent jet, and decently sized as well. A little bigger, about the same size, maybe slightly bigger than the original Voyager Starscream from the first Transformers movie. And again, you just saw I folded up the landing gear. And he does come with both his null ray weapons as well as some missiles. And you'll notice on the underside of the wings, there's like 4 different ports to attach things. So you can put missiles on the tip, and you can put the null ray in here. You can arm him basically however you want. And I'm sure some of that is to reuse the mold for the various weapons, especially on the cone heads that have longer missile weapons and have much more varied weapons than the 3 main seekers. But facilitate that. But you can arm him however you wish on the underside of the wing there. And it's got the ports to do it. So yeah, it also comes with this neat little 2-piece stand. You just plug it in like that. And one of the things that's neat about it is it does, this center disc rotates. So you can hold this still, and this piece can rotate around. Although I'm not entirely sure why they did that, because, I mean, like, unless you're just partial to having this in one particular, the actual base in one particular position, it doesn't really do anything other than just turning the base wouldn't do. It doesn't give you really any more benefit of how the jet is positioned or robot mode, the way it's attached. And basically in jet mode it attaches back here between the legs, is the only place I found. But there's pegs on either side here that just peg in between the legs here. It's just a matter of lining it up and snapping the legs around it. And it actually holds really well. Like, there's a downward pose. You just kind of tilt it up on that pivot point, and you can display the jet however you want. Again, you can rotate the inner part, but again, aside from again having this in a particular position, and it's aside from having it like forward or angled, all the sides are the same. So, I mean, there's really no benefit to that versus just turning the base. But the option's there if you want it. And it is a nice display stand for the jet mode. And with as nice a jet mode as this is, you might want to display it in jet mode. So yeah, just an option. Now on to the figure itself, the transformation, which everybody wants to see. And it's actually kind of a standard Seeker transformation with a few little bits and baubles thrown in. You can come back here and flip these up. These are going to be his heels. I'll flip these down. Those are going to be his feet. The wings unpeg. They peg in here and kind of up here and then up here at the front. And they pull out a little bit. Now the design and the instructions tell you to pop them off. And you can do that. You can actually leave them on if you want. You just don't pull them all the way off that post. Just pull them out just enough to rotate. I'm going to see if I can do it. Again, officially you're supposed to pop them off for transformation, but I'm going to show you that you can actually leave them on. Then fold these down in half. Right here, just fold those down. The legs, you slide this up, fold this up, then slide it up. There you see there's a little notch here inside the black fin for that notch to sit right there, and that's going to form the back. Just a little extra support and get it out of the way of the robot mode. You can slide that up and just plug it in right there, fold it in. These panels right here are actually kind of cool because you lift them up, and then they're on a ball joint here. You rotate them down, and you see there's a hinge and a post right here that pegs in right here. So you fold these down and peg in. onto the back of the leg. just like that, and then the legs just friction extend down. And they're nice and tight. I mean, like I don't feel any clicking into place at the bottom, but I have not had any issues playing with this, with them collapsing back up. Keep the feet forward. And that's pretty much the legs done right there. Now there's not a whole lot. He's got some little waist pauldrons here. Make sure that's folded back. And I love the look of the legs. The leg design's nice and chunky and beefy, and I love the way, I just like the big armored robot legs. Alright, somewhere in my original shooting of the arm transformation, it went off camera and stayed off camera. So I'm starting over, so I can't remember exactly where I started, but we'll get it all in here. So the legs are done, and up here you pull the cockpit out like this. It just kind of slides up like that. And you kind of fold it however you need to get it out of the way. And you kind of, once that's up, it helps you bring these down, these arm panels down just a little bit, just to give them a little bit more clearance as you spin them through. But here's the tricky part. Oh, actually, that's not the tricky part. Fold that down. And then the tricky part is you got to force these arms past one another, at least on the first one, to get it. They come through the front here. And so you kind of, the first one, you just kind of wiggle and push until you get one around. And it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, but it is a little trickier once you get the first arm through. Once you get the first arm through, the second one should flip right out. And going back to jet mode is the same thing. Fold it up and then push one arm through. And then you kind of got to squeeze the second one past, but it's not too hard. Flip up the shoulder panel. I rotate the arm forward. And then this panel actually is on a dual hinge and folds all the way back like that. And the hand twists. And there you go. Same over here. And then the chest panel comes back up. And then just like on the old Seekers, you kind of fold the nose cone up and then fold it down through so the cockpit comes through here. There's a little panel here on the back that you fold down. That's going to let this slide down. So you fold it down, and then that hinge joint, you just slide the whole thing down. So this slides into here like that, so it matches up with a silver piece down here, and that lets this hinge go down and sit right through the gap here in the back. And then once that's done, these little panels here on the side fold in to fill in the side of the abdomen here. You can see there's a gap right there, and then you push this little panel in, and it fills that in. It opens up the waist a little bit and fills in that side panel, which is nice. And the head, you just position the head. Now the wings, you can leave them closed like this. They do have an opening hinge. You don't have to open it that far. It's supposed to it's based off I think one of Guido Guidi's designs. Although if I'm wrong on that, I apologize to the original artist. But one of the Transformer designs for the Seeker, they have 22 Seekers that had the kind of split wing like that. And so you just give it a little bit of a gap. And again, you don't have to. Whatever you feel, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you like, you can split that wing up a little bit. And they're supposed to angle back a little bit to give room for the shoulders. And then the null rays plug in right here onto this rotating hinge. Right there, like that. And there he is. There he is in robot mode. And he's actually really cool. It's a really nice design. He's a little lighter blue than I'm used to seeing Thundercracker, but it's not bad. It's more of an animation blue than a toy blue. He does come with, and there's a standard head, which is really nice. Let me see if I can get a close-up of the head, because when they first revealed this thing, they thought everybody was saying the head looked wrong. And the head itself is actually pretty nice. It's got some red eyes in there, although the way the shadow is. Let's see if I can't rotate this up. There we go. You can see he's got some red eyes in there. And it's a nice-looking Seeker head. And he does come with a secondary angry face that you can, kind of a yelly face. You just unscrew, there's a screw on the back of the head. You just unscrew it back here, pop just the front half of the face off, and can put that on and change the expression. Didn't need to do that, but it's kind of neat. Posability-wise, he's really cool. He's got a ball-jointed head and enough room to actually get a good range of motion out of it. I mean, he's looking up and all that stuff. It's really cool. And a lot more range of motion in the head. He's got ratcheting shoulders here. They move forward and back a little bit. There's a bicep swivel. Also, the ratchets are a little tight. Be careful when trying to compress the arms down. Grab it. Make sure you grab it up here by the ratchet, because you don't want to risk pushing any of this stuff sideways and possibly snapping it, because they are pretty tight ratchets up here on the shoulder. But a bicep swivel, even the little connector point for the null ray is independently movable. Double jointed elbows, ball joint wrists, which are nice. He's got a waist swivel, universal hips, thigh swivel, hinged knees, and there is actually some tilt to the feet, just in the front, but it does allow him to be stable in several different poses. Drifting off to the side here, I bumped that. So yeah, size comparison-wise, he's actually bigger than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting him to be like super tiny or anything, but yeah, just a quick size comparison. Here he is with Masterpiece Starscream. And you can see he's not a whole lot smaller there. And he scales really well with Toy World's Orion. Just a little shorter at the head. But he looks really nice with Orion. And a really neat figure. So he's a good size. He's well built. Some people have complained about the proportions of the arms and the legs. And the arms still, they look a little better than I think the initial prototype looked. The arms still are a little skinny, but all in hand, he's a really nice looking figure. And I was expecting to like check him out and dig him. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this cool. Like to the point where like I was like, okay, I'll take this one on loan and review it and get a chance to check it out. And now that I have, like, I'm looking to spend some money. So that's about the highest praise I can give something. Is like I would spend money on this. And like I said, it's nice. They're really well built. I would love, like I said, I'd love to get the thrust, because I think he's probably the best of the 6. But he only comes in that 3-pack with the cone heads versus singly. If I could get a single Starscream, I would absolutely do it. Do I want to spend money for a 3-pack of Starscream and Skywarp and Thundercracker? Like, the Thundercracker looks nice. The Skywarp does look nice. It's just, do I need 3 of the same mold and the same colors? When it comes to a deluxe, it's one thing. You know, spending $45 on 3 deluxes. You know, the Fall of Cybertron, I think, is the last main Seeker team in all 3 colors I collected, that I put together myself. That's one thing. Spending $300 on 3 Seekers in the main color, do I want to do it? Because the base figure, like I said, this figure is really nice. I think individually, totally worth it. And if you want all 3 Seekers, totally worth it. I don't know if I personally need to complete all three of the team. Although the more I look at this guy, the more he's growing on me. So yeah, it's a good, solid figure. Very well made. It's nice to see a completely original mold come out of iGear and be very nice. I mean, they've done the mini bots before, but like, it's a really nice Seeker mold, and something I'd love to see this like at a Voyager scale in stores, because it's really neat, and I love the design. I just don't know if it's worth paying $300 for a set of 3. And I've said that several times now, so I'm just gonna move on. It's good. It's cool. It's Thunder Wraith, the iGear version of Thundercracker from their new Raptor Squadron Conair series. Again, thanks to Chris Lasara on Twitter, at Syracniche. I'll put that in the thanks in the video description down there, for letting me check this out, because I think you've sold me on a new figure, and that doesn't happen often. So yeah, there it is. Conair Raptor Squadron Thunder Wraith.